One day I woke up and I said, just make it a journal and get it out there now. Help people now. Give them the practices. Give them how you do it every day. Give them what they need to get through the raw grief part. And the key, Fern, the differentiator is use art therapy, because a lot of people are out there and there are, wonderful mediums. I love a good medium. A lot of people out there helping us connect with our loved ones, but no one is using art specifically.
Welcome to Signs from the Other Side with Fern Ronay. I'm your host, Fern Ronay, and this is the place to share stories of signs and messages received from the other side. Real quick before we get started, if you enjoy reading about signs and if you enjoy fiction like Bridget Jones and Sex and the City, you might enjoy my books, Better in the Morning and Better Believe It. And if you like this podcast, please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe in Apple Podcasts and tell a friend too. Thank you so much for listening, and on to the show. Elizabeth Bryan-Jacobs is back. In case you haven't watched or listened to episodes 9 and 10 from this season 8, please check them out. And for those of you that have, you know that Elizabeth is an amazing artist, art therapist, and best-selling author. Through her program called Awakenings Dreamwork, she helps participants connect with their loved ones through dreams. And we are now at the part of the program where I get to have my one-on-one with Elizabeth, and I am so happy about it. Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much, Fern, for having me back. And what a kind of a rich dialogue we have been having, even over email, about your dreams and your experiences, which I'm just like bursting. I can't wait to talk about.
I know. I can't wait to talk about it.
Do you mind if I just chime us in?
Yes, I would love it.
Okay. So chiming us in kind of helps us know and me know and the unconscious know that we are entering a very sacred space. And I love chiming in with intention. My intention today is for us to have a rich and wonderful conversation that touches viewers in a way that they know in their hearts that the other side exists and is all about love. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Yes.
My intention was similar to, I hope it inspires other people to do this and look at their dreams. Yes. And feel connected. So the last time we spoke, we had done where we spoke live. We had done a show with Daryl, who's wonderful. And I felt so much pressure before that show for my grandmother to show up in a dream. So my history had been that I had one visit with her that when I was going through a spiritual awakening in my 20s, I felt her back. It was cold. She said, I'll be seeing you. And I know that meant like, I'll be seeing you through this spiritual awakening and this journey. And she's always with me. And I remember it so vividly and I felt it. And I always say I've only ever had one dream visit. It was with my grandmother who passed when I was 15, my father's mother. So she sends me signs all the time. Her sign is a fly. And it happened when I had been watching John Edward and he was talking about this. And the idea was implanted in my brain, and I went to church and I was praying for my aunt, who is my grandmother's daughter, and a fly started buzzing in front of my face. And I was like, Graham. And ever since then, she has come through when I'm worried about something, or even when we're celebrating. In the middle of February, my niece was born and there was a fly in the hospital room, and we have it on video. My sister-in-law going, what is a fly doing here in the middle of February? And we're like, Grandma's here. She's saying congratulations. So she is always with us, and a fly is her sign. So after we spoke, and I've been not great with my homework because, as we talked about, I've been in such burnout mode, and I love doing the podcast, but next year I'm going to do it every other week to give me some breathing room. So it's been a lot of work, but I love it. But I haven't, when I'm in burnout mode and I'm just going through the motions and trying to get things done and cross off my to-do list, I'm not so great about self-care. And I used to say the rosary every day as a means of meditation. God understands that I haven't been able to do it as regularly because it says something that I don't even have those like 6 minutes a day to meditate. And that's a problem. And I have to change that. And I'm hopefully getting over this hump and then getting back into it because it really does
changed
help.
it already. You've
Yeah.
changed it already.
Yeah, just by saying that.
Yeah.
Yes. So I haven't been great about keeping my journal. Well, I've been good about the dream recall. When I remember, I record it in my phone, in my notes app, like you advised. But I haven't been great about meditating. I haven't been great about talking to her before I go to sleep. And so I know when I get back to it, I know she's going to come through again because she did come through recently, just in time. So that's where I have been so far. But I did have a dream that we talked about where I was eating pasta. And there was a fly in my pasta. And I was like saying to my husband, like, shoo it away. And I think he was like teasing me, like, but we talked about that. And you had a great insight.
Oh, my
Yes.
goodness. So it's one of my biggest aha moments of this entire DreamWork journey. Seriously, because I live my life helping people understand their dreams and kind of unlock the healing in them and all of these things. And recently I have become very obsessed with Lynne Jackson, the psychic medium, because for many reasons, but the number one reason is because she always says you do not need a psychic medium to connect with your loved one on the other side. I'm like, I love this woman,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
she is legitimately, to me, one of the best psychic mediums I've ever even known of, and her books are phenomenal. And so I'm listening to The Light Between Us, and I've already listened to Signs, and I hear her all of a sudden talking about the way she, Laura Lynn, receives informations in reading, okay? And it's like she has two screens and she describes it and she says it's exactly the same way we get information from dreams. I get images and symbols and numbers, and it's up to me to decode it for the sitter. And like bells blow up in my brain because I'm like, whoa. And she uses the example of an apple. She said, I might get an apple. And for me, that it has a completely different association because Laura Lynn, was a teacher, right? But the apple might mean something completely different to someone else, which is my number one rule in dream work. Like, never let anyone tell you this is what your dream means, because the apple means something completely different to Laura Lynn, but it's exactly the same way our loved ones visit us in our dreams. And she is quoted as saying something like, pay attention to your dreams because your loved ones may come as the same symbol you get during the day. They can show up that way at night. Of course they can.
Yes.
That makes total sense to me.
Yes.
And you had the fly
Yes.
dream, right?
Yes.
So the sequencing is you had the fly, and we were like, that's really interesting. I hear this. I have this aha moment from Lynne Jackson, and then it happens to me twice. Twice.
What were
So
they?
I'll tell you.
Yes.
So I'll tell you very quickly. I was, my mother's on the other side, and I feel her, and I talk to her. She edits with me. I mean, we're together all the time. I do not feel like my mother's gone. But lately, I have been missing her words of encouragement. She always said, I never doubted you, Elizabeth. I'm so proud of you, Elizabeth. And I have been thinking a lot about that. And I heard I heard your story. I heard Laura Lynn's whole thing on the symbol in the dream. And that night, Fern, I had this dream of this beautiful antique golden watch, okay, that's been in my family for a very long time. One of them was mine. There were several, but it needed to be restored, and I had never worn it. So the watch is restored, and in script, the front of it says, my name, Elizabeth. And I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the watch? I go running around.
Right.
I find it in the safe. I bring it to the jeweler, and I know it's my mother saying to me, Elizabeth, this is your time. I hear her. This is your time. I'm with you, and I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was so powerful, Fern,
Yes.
because of course, when our loved ones come in our dreams, they're either communicating something telepathically, or maybe they're saying, I didn't want to leave, or I love you, or I'm okay. It's not a usual thing for a loved one to be direct in their communication about something. It's not to say it doesn't happen, But it was very, very interesting that those things happened in that sequential order. You with the fly, Laura Lynn, and then my mother sending the watch, and then Byron, very brilliantly, he's very often in my dreams, and we do have interesting conversations. I was cleaning out his toiletries because he used to live with me, and I'm going through like old little bottles of mouthwash, and here's what is so funny, Fern. I find his nose hair clippers. Okay. Which it's so funny because we always hear that spirit is exactly the same on this side as they are the other. And he is hysterically funny. He's still a prankster. And his nose hair clippers, I mean, I'm just going to say they were a big part of our life growing up, like with my kids, like clipping it might be too much information,
No, I love
but
it.
trust me, when the nose hair clippers came, I was like, you could have sent me anything.
Yes.
But this was so specific.
Yes.
Was
yes.
the nose hair clippers. And then almost immediately, like that whole day, I was getting all of these downloads from Byron, and because he inspired such a big part of the journal that I'm writing. And then literally I was saying thank you, and I looked at my phone, and a video came up that was like Byron Keith Bird over the years. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing Laura Lynn says, which just is so validating, is that on the other side, she has a whole chapter where she talks about how good they are with electronic devices
Yes.
and our phones.
Yes.
Our phones.
Yes.
They can call weird numbers,
Yes.
which I've had that happen. All of a sudden, my phone is dialing my mother's number from 10 years ago. It's not even in my phone anymore.
Right.
And the photos and the text
Yes.
showing up
Yes.
at weird times.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I had this full day of Byron, which was
Yes.
just wonderful.
Aw.
Wonderful. And I was so grateful.
If it hadn't happened in that order, so my dream, her message, your dream, how would you have interpreted the watch? Would you have interpreted it differently?
That's such a good question. I would have gone and gotten it out. I would have made art of the watch. I did make art of the nose hair clippers, by the way. And I would have tried to understand, because, when we look at a dream in the Jungian world, we always say, what's the most powerful image? And that image is very highly charged with, what psyche or what the unconscious or the dream maker, whoever wants us to know. It's in the symbol, right? Because we think symbolically, and that's the language of the unconscious. Now, I might have gone a little transpersonal with it, which means I might have said, it's a message from my mother, but I would not have known it was a direct communication from her, because my name, I would have thought maybe it was my own unconscious showing me it's my time, but I had been asking for her. And I want to just say back to your dream that you haven't even shared yet.
Yes.
I think my belief is that your grandmother came because she knew we were doing this today.
Yes.
Did you have that thought?
Yes, because last time I was like, lady,
I know.
help me remember. Like, I know you come to me at night. I truly believe she's always with me.
Yeah.
But make me remember so I can fill out my homework. Let's do this.
Right. Yeah, they're very receptive. You know this. You ask and it comes. I mean, it's amazing.
And I feel like this dream that I had, she came right on time. It was not last night. It was the night before. So I had time to tell you and process it. She was like, I'm not going to come at the last minute, so you have time to prepare. And in the past, I would have written it off as just a dream, not a dream visit. And I see it so different now. And so the dream was that we were at a restaurant, and my aunt, she is the daughter that I was praying for when the fly came.
I know.
Yeah, that originated.
Which I didn't know.
Yes,
right.
Which originated it all. And she didn't feel well. And so I said, I'll drive you home. And we were in New Jersey. And they had taken the train to the restaurant, which nobody really would take a train in New Jersey. They have cars. I've never been on a train with them. I don't know what that was about. But they took a train there. So I was like, I'll drive you back to the Jersey Shore. And my grandmother never lived at the Jersey Shore. My aunt does. And then I remember saying to my father, like, I'm driving them back, and like, he's so hard to read. Like, I just like assume he's like annoyed for some reason. And so it's like annoyed maybe. And I think my car like maybe wasn't reliable. I don't have a car in New Jersey, and my father's a used car dealer. So like, we always had like, we always had cars.
Okay.
Like, it was fine.
Okay.
And they were always pretty reliable because he, took care of them. So your email was wonderful, and a lot of it made so much sense.
Okay, good. I'm sorry I overwhelmed you, but it's like, I read a dream and I'm like,
yes, it's your gift. So I know that when I woke up, I almost didn't write it down. I almost forgot it. And then I remembered, and then I was like, she came. So she was there with my aunt. So there is a significance with my aunt, and we can talk about it. Yeah, that we both don't have children.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you just added in a very important piece that has given me cold chills, is that you prayed to your grandmother for your aunt before.
Yes.
So now we have a true connection, because the number one thing that I know from this work is it's all to bring us back to love. That's it. That's all it is to bring us back to unconditional love. It's why, Fern, so many people at the end of life experience their loved ones coming to help them cross over. And it's all about making them feel loved. Even if they haven't felt loved in their whole entire life, you can read the research on this. Someone's teacher from the second grade who cared about them will show up for someone who has spent their life incarcerated and is dying now. I mean, it's just, I get such a cold chill. And it's the same dream maker or God or divine who sends them at the end of life that sends them during life.
Yes.
And so, your grandmother, you prayed, and you were praying for your aunt. Mm-hmm. And so there is this, I call it, Daryl and I call it the eternal golden thread, right? That connects all of us together through love.
Yes.
And you have already reached out to your grandmother for this exact reason. Mm-hmm. And here she is showing up again to, maybe nudge you or inspire you or ask you to open your heart to your aunt in some way that you maybe don't even know what that is yet.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about dream work is we can heal in that space. And so even if we don't have, if we have problems with someone when we're here, it all heals on the other side.
Yes.
It's all, they're still growing as souls. And it's another, I knew this, but Laura Lynne says it too. Like we need them and they need us because they're evolving as souls, right?
Yes.
And so they're learning these lessons, and it brings me to, the digression is the visitation dream I had of Byron right after he crossed over, because we were so estranged, and we were like, our last human moment together was so like, we left, it was just so painful. And when he came in the dream, he was just hugging me and just kissing me and nuzzling and saying, Ellie, he called me Ellie, you were right. It's all about love. And you knew exactly what I needed. It's all about love. And he was just like loving on me. And, that experience made me realize it's very similar to what happens to people in hospice. And, when they're dying, if they have problems with someone, in this world, it can all be healed on the other side.
What is the message, or what can I take away of something I can do that my grandmother might be like asking me to do? Or if it's praying for her, I can absolutely do that.
Right.
Yes.
It's praying for her is one wonderful way, because prayer, goes out into the universe. It's kind of like loving kindness meditation, really focusing on praying for her is one direction to hear, and metta, loving kindness meditation, is like out to her and out to the world. So that's another path. You could write letters, like just do your work, do your part in it. And, whatever she feels or however she senses it or transforms or doesn't, that is her journey. But, as a therapist, as I was telling you before, I always tell my clients, have your boundaries. always have your boundaries, but that doesn't mean you can't do the healing work on your own.
Right.
You know, you
Right.
could make art about it. You could take a photo of the two of you and put it inside of a heart. I mean,
Yeah.
simple. It
Yes.
doesn't need to be a masterpiece.
Yes. Yeah.
And set an intention.
Yes. Oh, that
I'm s-
resonates very much with me. I think like the parallel of I was praying for her then, that started the sign, and she's in the dream with my grandmother.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like my grandmother's asking me like pray for her and honor her.
Honor her.
Yeah, if I have her picture, that I would feel great love. I have great love for her. And I can do that. Yes. Yeah.
And see, that
absolutely.
is a little creative practice.
Yes. Yes.
Just taking the photo and putting it into a frame, even drawing a
Yes.
heart around it if you were moved to do. And
Yes.
that is a creative practice. And that is what opens us up to spirit and the other side. And you will be honoring her. Not only will you be honoring her, you will be honoring your grandmother
Yes.
who came as your ancestor and a mother with this very specific message, knowing that you would act on it.
Yes.
Right in time for this. So we
Yes.
would unpack it together.
Yes. Yes. Perfect timing. Byron gave you a poem.
He did.
Yes. That I love it, especially because the last words are all is well. And my other grandmother, I know she had sent me that message a few years ago when I was like trying to meditate and get a message from her. And she was a worrywart on earth, but I feel like that was some earthly baggage that she healed. And on the other side, she was telling me all is well. I love those three words, all is
that
well.
beautiful?
And I love the message of like they're just in the next route. Like talk about them. Don't talk about them in hushed tones. And they are here and they want you to talk about them.
Yes.
There are people in my life who've experienced such trauma of losing someone. I feel like it would be very hard the poem would be hard for her. So like, do you find it's hard for people who are in a certain
Raw
level
grief.
of grief?
Yes. And it's such a good question. And I hope my answer isn't too long because it goes into why we created the Grief is Love journal. And by the way, the poem is one of the main creative prompts in the journal. The journal has, art therapy and meditation and written prompts, but the Death is Nothing at All poem is in the beginning. It's a trilogy, the journal series, and the poem is in the beginning and end of each of the three in the series. And the series is divided into three sections that my consultant and mentor and colleague Nora Swan Foster came up with: Gateway, Attending, and Passage. She is a brilliant diplomat, Jungian art therapist, Jungian analyst who came up with Gateway, Attending, and Passage for her work in feminine initiation, and pregnancy and childbirth. Long bit of information, but Gateway is the initial stage of grief. Okay. Gateway is the raw place where, everything's way too painful to even wonder, although it is also a time, according to research, that a lot of people have visitation dreams. In particular, grief intensity is almost a predictor of a visitation dream because, our loved ones want to help us through our grief. And so we tailored the practices to people who are in the raw stages of grief. And so we came up with this idea of this eternal golden thread, like I was saying. And the practice for someone who is in raw grief, it's so simple. It's kind of, you may not even see the thread. It might be, you might think it's broken, it's down in the shadow, maybe it's not even there, but can you draw it on a piece of paper? And can you highlight parts where there may be a connection? And if you can't, you cannot. But the whole idea is just trust that the thread is already there. So even in the worst parts of grief, and, I do grief work, if we kind of guide someone into the idea of it and even try to open them up a little bit to the idea of connection, something usually clicks and happens.
Yes.
Yes. And, I have people who are kind of hardcore and have had horrible losses.
Right.
Like Candace Leitner, who founded Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So Yeah, her daughter Carrie came to her like hours after she crossed over, after she was killed horribly by a
Right.
drunk driver.
Right. Right.
So,
So I feel like people who are experiencing that might say, it is nothing at all. I'll speak her name, but it is everything. Like it feels like it's everything. Like it doesn't feel
right.
like it's nothing at all. Right.
No, and
Yes.
and we are exactly, and what we are doing in that stage of grief very specifically is we are honoring them. And if that's all we are called to do is honor them by saying their name, by going through their things. There's so much that goes on when someone first dies that, cleaning out and funeral and, the horrible, hard stuff. And if we can simply honor them in that way by saying their name, by holding something special, by putting it away, using it in prayer, whatever feels right for the person to do, it's enough. And it also sends them an invitation. It sends our loved ones, it lets them know that, they're honoring us, they're honoring our lives in some way. And I'll just say it like this, shit starts to happen.
Yes.
It
Which
just
is
does.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, the signs start coming.
Yes.
Even just in the practice of honoring, Fern, the signs start come even
Yes.
for the most non-believers.
Right.
I mean, I've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen it in my own family, my completely, atheist brother.
Yes.
And let me tell you something, my mother came hard and fast, and he's no longer atheist.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's that powerful. What is your advice? So at this point, if someone's going through the Awakenings Dreamwork Program, so they're at the stage now of the one-on-one, what is the advice going forward? It
So I
depends.
guess it depends
Yes.
on where we are. Are we
Right.
in Gateway, Attending, or Passage?
Right. Okay.
So if we're in Gateway, we're in raw grief and we're helping them, there's a lot of therapy, grief work in there to help them just get through the worst part of it. If we're in Attending, then we're kind of attending to who we were before, who we are now, but we're also usually getting signs and dreams, and we know how to ask for those things, and we make our loving memory box or artwork or whatever it is that, becomes like a sacred container for all of their special things. And you had your grandmother's
Yes.
wonderful purse, which
Yes.
was brilliant. I've had
Right.
people who've lost pets use the dog bowl
Yes.
and get a
Aw.
dream. And I've had another client make art about her sister, inviting her sister to come through, making art with all of these things that reminded her of her sister and, that they shared together. And that was really interesting because in the first dream she had, in the attending phase, her mother came to help her with the art. Her mother was
Wow.
also on the other.
Right.
So I've had that now.
Right.
More people are coming. More dead people are coming. It happened like 3 times in the last workshop. Like other
Yes.
deceased family
Yes.
members came.
They're like, I won't be
And
left
then-
out.
I know. And then in the next, that's exactly what she said. She said, my mother wouldn't want to be left out. And then in the next dream, her sister came.
Wow. Wow.
So
Yes.
we can hope that, the connection becomes, the thread becomes like we can see it out of the shadow. It's now revealing itself. And we're getting signs and we're opening more to the experience. We're attending to what's going on as the world changes and as our identity changes. And, then when we move forward into Passage, we're kind of living it.
Yeah.
We are the thread where there
Yes.
is no separation.
Yes.
And so it's stages.
Yes.
And they're not linear, other
Yeah.
than Gateway is, kind of when we step through at the
Right.
moment of loss.
And there's no timeline.
No,
Time is
no,
certainly
years,
not real. Yes.
years. I just
Yeah.
posted a video when your loved one came in a dream. When did they come? Was it like under 6? I mean, I made it multiple choice. I couldn't believe the answers I got. It became research. It was like, this is data.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
like 500 people said right away. 500 people said not for 10 years. I mean, it was
Yes.
like so interesting.
Yes. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. It is. There is no timeline.
No. Why? Time is a construct. Time doesn't exist on the
Yes.
other side.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. I want to hear more about the journal.
Oh, the journal. Okay, so it's a little circuitous, but Nora Swan Foster is a brilliant Jungian art therapist analyst who I told you about. Nora's been consulting with me on a book. And then one day I woke up and I said, just make it a journal and get it out there now. Help people now. Give them the practices. Give them how you do it every day. Give them what they need to get through the raw grief part. And the key, Fern, the differentiator is use art therapy, because a lot of people are out there, and there are, wonderful mediums. I love a good medium. A lot of people out there helping us connect with our loved ones, but no one is using art specifically. And and I'm not talking about the paintings that I make. I'm talking about creativity. Let's just call it that. Artists have known for centuries that this is how we commune with spirit. Cultures, religions around the world, do amazing creative things to bring forward their deceased loved ones. I mean, if you think about things like the Day of the Dead, there's lots of art and creativity and music and dancing. So this is not new. But what I realized was if I could give people the in through creative practice, that's how the channel opens. And then there was amazing Laura Lynne, and she's saying the same thing.
Yes,
and I'm like,
yes, that the ideas come from, yes,
no artist
beautiful.
Works alone.
Yes, I love that.
So it's the art making and the meditation. So it's all in the journal in the 3 sections: Gateway, Attending, and Passage. We're going to release Gateway in time for holiday because that's such a hard time for people who are experienced loss. It's horrible. Very excited. I'm doing it with Daryl, who, of course, is a licensed social worker in bereavement and a certified end-of-life doula, and Catherine Brito, who is a grief coach and just the most amazing
She's a great
human
TikTok
being.
too.
Oh, she's amazing and constantly running groups. Grief is Love is her handle. And that's where we got the title from.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
and no one should be intimidated by hearing through art therapies, so many people are no, I can't draw a straight line. Right.
No. I always tell my groups, think Pictionary. I mean, I myself have made art from my dreams that was like a stick figure.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. And we're talking about creativity. So you picked up your grandmother's beautiful silver purse. We're talking about you framing a photo. It's just anything that kind of gets you out of your head and into the flow state. And the journal is going to be packed with QR codes that have guided meditations, because meditation is another huge component. We kind of dial back the front of our brains and our brain gets quiet, and that makes us open to receiving all kinds of messages. And so, you kind of combine art therapy and meditation and you supercharge them. Art therapists, we love scribbling.
Yes.
We love scribbling and we love scribble drawings. It's like art therapy 101, scribble drawing. And so in Gateway, the practice is scribbling your pain. So just like mark making based on what you're feeling in your body. But then in attending, it becomes like looking for symbols. And in Passage, it becomes opening to spirit in a similar way a psychic medium does, because it's very meditative. So the practices evolve through the 3 journals.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
So they don't
long answer, sorry.
But they don't have to worry about, because I remember someone knitting.
No, I always say no artistic talent required.
Yes.
Zero.
Perfect.
Zero.
Perfect. Everyone can find you and Awakenings Dreamwork and get the journal. Is it all going to be in one place?
Yes.
Okay.
So the journal will probably live on a different website, but for now, we're actually giving away. Whoever goes there and signs up can go to Awakenings Dreamwork. We're going to give away the first 25 copies to your listeners, whoever is listening to the podcast.
How amazing.
Yes.
Oh, that's so nice.
So we're gathering names. Yep,
okay, so awakeningsdreamwork.com. The first 25 people can get the journal. Yes. Nice. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And of course, you're going to have a free one anyway, and we're going to do it together.
Yes, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. Well, I can't thank you enough. You've been so wonderful to me, and you described yourself in one of the emails as my self-care big sister. I know we were sisters in another life, and I'm just so grateful that we've connected.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
and I'm always here, Fern, to help you with your dreams
Thank
because
you.
this journey of ours together is so synchronistic and
Yes.
wonderful, and I just feel so blessed.
Yes. Same. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to Signs from the Other Side. You can find me, Fern Ronay, on all social media at Fern Ronay, Ronay. I love hearing from you and I love hearing your stories of signs. And if you would like to hear more episodes of this show, please be sure to subscribe in Apple Podcasts. Thank you again and sweet dreams.